Hey guys, welcome back to Prem Talk. Yet another video, and this is going to be episode 2 of the review series that we began last week, where we go through all 10 full fixtures of the English Premier League. And we match day 2 just ended yesterday with the final game being between Newcastle and Liverpool. So, how we're gonna do this time is we're gonna go back all the way up to Friday, start from there, and go chronologically down all the way up to yesterday's game finally. So, welcome, guys, and hope that you'll continue to enjoy the video. And there'll be more and more of these series that is the review coming out in the following weeks, so on and so forth. We get into the first match, which began all the way back to Friday. So we rewind all the way back to Friday, and there we had West Ham being the host, and they were welcoming my beloved Chelsea. And the score ended at 5-1. This is how the game went. West Ham started off extremely well, extremely well, pressing the ball high up, uh, forcing Chelsea into committing a few errors in their build-up, getting the ball in the final third, and causing the defense, the Chelsea defense of Tosin and Trev Chalobah a lot of problems. West Ham did get the lead from a bullet of a shot from Lucas Paqueta. Uh, the ball was robbed in the middle of the park after a pretty much careless at backheel attempt from Estevan Willian to try and find João Pedro on the run, but it got intercepted, and Lucas Paqueta strode forward, and with no man close to him to close him down, he chose to have a rocket, and it flew into the top corner. I've had many people complain that Robert Sanchez could have done better on that goal. Could he? Yes, but in all honesty, it was a beautiful shot, and that's how West Ham took the lead through Lucas Paqueta, and it was a very quick response from Chelsea. A set piece routine, Marco Correa flicked the ball on, and there was a man again, João Pedro, to head in his first official Premier League goal, and you know, bring the game back level. And West Ham was still, causing a lot of problems. And in fact, they did have another goal of their own, which was ruled out. Niklas Fulkrug this time scored, but unfortunately, it was ruled out because I believe the centre back Jean Claire Todibo was caught offside in during the build-up, and the goal got disallowed. Chelsea then took control of the game. We started moving the ball forward, and goals were now beginning to fly in on a regular basis, that is. And this time, when Chelsea had already gotten a flow of how the game was going to go and were getting back into their rhythm, and the press that Chelsea had caused an error from Lucas Paqueta, got robbed in his own defensive third. In all honesty, attempting to do a skill that didn't come off, he got robbed, and there was João Pedro to cross into the back post where Pedro Neto had snuck in behind his man in Aaron Wan-Bissaka to put the Blues ahead. From there on, honestly, Chelsea did take control of the game from there on, and it was only one-way traffic. And indeed, the game continued in the same vein. A third goal was within reach for Chelsea, and it did come right before halftime, when a beautiful piece of play from Chelsea, moving the ball side to side. It found Trevor Chalobah, who fizzed a ball through Estevan to Estevan Willian, who found Malo Gusto, played the ball forward into Liam Delap, who flicked it back onto the on-rushing Estevao Willian, who jinxed his way past two or three West Ham defenders to cross into the middle of the goal where Enzo Fernandez had made a late run from midfield to score Chelsea's third goal and effectively take the game away from West Ham United. So that was the first half, how it ended. And by this time, of course, Chelsea were fully in control. And into the second half, it began, and again, Chelsea continued in the same vein. A set piece here, and Moises Caicedo decided to join the party here. A bit of careless goalkeeping from Mads Hermansen, the West Ham goalkeeper, who punched the ball straight onto the feet of, or should I say, he miscued his punch, and the ball landed at the feet of Moises Caicedo, who found the top corner beautifully with side-footed shot to make it 4-1, and yet again another set piece uh, around the 58th minute. This time, Trevor Chalobah getting the goal here from a Majao Pedro knockdown, and Trevor Chalobah did the rest in smashing the ball into the net. So that was 5-1, and from there onwards, honestly, Chelsea were fully in control of the game, and West Ham really didn't get much of a chance. They did, to be fair to them, grow back again into the game, but very late for it to cause trouble for Chelsea. So the game ended up being 5-1. That was the first game of the game week on Friday, and into Saturday we go, and it was a big game of the weekend. It was Manchester City hosting Tottenham Hotspur, and in all honesty, historically this game has always favored Tottenham, and it has always gone in the same vein of Manchester City dominating the game and Spurs hitting them regularly on the break. And this time it was no much difference here. Richarlison and Mohamed Kudus were the culprits here in destroying the City defense and the City midfield with their runs in behind and trickery on the ball here and there. And in all honesty, the City defense were not able to comfortably deal with them. The first goal from Tottenham Hotspur arrived in the 35th minute from Brennan Johnson. Some beautiful play to get in behind by Richarlison, who crossed the ball downwards towards Brennan Johnson, with Richarlison causing the problems and providing the assist. The second goal came from a mistake from the City goalkeeper in James Trafford, who ideally just presented the ball straight from a goal kick, uh, played the ball into a tricky area, and Richarlison got hold of it, managed to round the goalkeeper, and he did take a shot that ricocheted all its way around and found the feet of João Palhinha, who managed to smash the ball into the back of the net. And in all honesty, though City tried to probe into the staunch Spurs defense led by Mickey van der Ven and Christian Romero, but they were unable to get through, and that's how the game ended at 2-0, and another victory for Spurs over Manchester City. And in all honesty, Manchester City, they honestly do not like the look of Spurs at any given time, because anytime they face this opposition, they end up losing. And that was the early kickoff on Saturday, and into the next game we do go now with Bournemouth playing Wolves. I did manage to watch this game too, and Bournemouth were their usual selves, very good on the ball, high pressing without it, caused Wolves a lot of problems. and there was a red card in this game. There was a red card in this game in the defender Totti Gomez, who had to exit the pitch because of a very dangerous tackle, and Wolves played the majority of the game, and that is from the 49th minute onwards. Wolves played the majority of the game with only 10 men, and honestly, Bournemouth were fully in control here. And the star of the match once again, Antoine Semenyo, the same player who did score a brace in the first game week against Liverpool away. So he was again the star here, providing the crucial assist for Marcus Tavernier to put the ball into the back of the net and give them a 1-0 lead. The other game that was there in the 5 o'clocks, there was Brentford playing Aston Villa, and this honestly was a shock of the weekend. Where, as you remember last week when I was discussing Brentford, that I did give them a very, very, very high chance of going down, and they shocked the villains here in Aston Villa, who it was not for the want of trying. They did create a lot of chances, but were not able to take them, and there was Brentford to be able to probe in behind once again on a counter, another team that played on the counter. So Brentford did catch Villa on the counter here, and there was the new signing, Dago Watara. I believe this was his first game for Brentford. He moved forward, took a shot first time, and it was saved. But the ball luckily ricocheted into his path, and he finished into an empty net to give Brentford an all important 3 points. And this is another team in which if they want to continue playing in this league, then they have to uh, have to maximize on getting full 3 points in their home games, and they did start well here in beating Aston Villa in the first home game of the season. So home form is going to be very crucial for Brentford. As for Villa, uh, following up on the draw that they did have on match day one against Newcastle. This was a bit of a disappointing one for them. They will feel hard done by this game. They expected a lot. They did expect to win this game, but to move out with the 0 points, then it must really irk them so much. So they will have to improve and know that in their next game they will have to be looking for 3 points. So moving on to the next game, and it was the relegation six-pointer here in Burnley hosting Sunderland, and this was another shock of the weekend because I honestly did expect Sunderland, after the top performance that they did produce in the first game week against West Ham, although West Ham are poor, but I did expect a lot from them, and they disappointed here, uh, going down 2-0 to Burnley here, and unfortunately, they they will feel really disappointed by this game. A few poor performances here and there. Chemseldine Talbi wasn't that great. Eliezer Mayenda, one of the scorers from the last game week, was also disappointing in the striking position. I remember one of the opportunities where the ball was crossed into him, and he was 1v1 against the goalkeeper, and he managed to strike the ball wide of the target. So a big win. I cannot stress that much more for Burnley, uh, beating their rivals here, who are going to be fighting with them for the battle to avoid relegation here, and they did start off well in their first home game, getting a 2-0 victory over their rivals, honestly. So good 3 points for Burnley and a disappointing one for Sunderland, who'll have to regroup uh, and manage to get points in their next game at home. So those were the 5 o'clock games, and the 7:30 p.m. kickoff, the last game of Saturday. There was Arsenal, the mighty Arsenal, facing or hosting newly promoted Leeds. And in all honesty, even before the game, uh, it was a game in which we call uh, a relatively easy game, where Arsenal were expected to bank all 3 points here, because they are aiming to win this league. And as I mentioned last week also, that for Arsenal this season, they have to win the league, or they have to win something at least. Otherwise, the pressure will be on Mikel Arteta after all the money that they've spent this summer, and they are continuing to spend in this summer. So uh, true to the form, Arsenal did thrash, and well and deservedly thrashed Leeds here, their opponents, by 5 goals to nil. A brace from new striker there in Victor Gyökeres, and another brace also from Urian Timber. Of course, they did get a few set piece goals here and there. So big win here for Arsenal. Just what we call a morale boosting win for Arsenal here, managing to put five uh, past uh, past the unfortunate Leeds here. Though there were a bit of negatives for Arsenal, with two unfortunate injuries in important players of the form of Bukayo Saka and Martin Odegaard. But I believe they do trust that with the depth now that they have, also having bought, Eberechi Eze over the weekend, and presenting him to the Emirates faithful at the game. So really, they should not have much to struggle about. So that was Arsenal 5, Leeds nil, and that was the close of Saturday's games. And we now move on to Sunday, where we had three games to play, and we start off at Selhurst Park, where we had the newly formed grudge match between Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest, who over the week swapped places officially, with Forest moving on to the Europa League, and Crystal Palace moving down into the Conference League qualifiers, that is, and they did manage to win the first leg of their qualifier during last week, that is on Thursday. And the game was heated, well heated. The Forest players were really on the back end of some huge pressure from the Palace faithful, who weren't at all happy with the with the actions of Nottingham Forest. Not necessarily the players, but their ownership. But the law is the law, and in all honesty, Palace did break the law. So it's a rightful decision. So back into the game now, and the game started off well for Palace, causing a lot of pressure. Uh, JP Mateta there with Ismail Assar causing a lot of problems. Now with Eberechi Eze having left to join Arsenal, the front three there was Mateta, Assar, and their young striker in Justin Duveni, and they did cause Nottingham Forest honestly a lot of problems. There was not much to smile about for new signing there of Nottingham Forest, for Dan Doy, who was, how I saw it, was isolated during much of the game. But despite Crystal Palace having taken the lead through Ismail Assar, Nottingham Forest did manage to equalize in there with Callum Hudson-Odoi, freshly from signing a new deal in at Nottingham Forest to equalize and at least manage to salvage a point here for Nottingham Forest. So huge point for them there, because they would have known that it was going to be a tough match going to Sellers Park anyway, even with the controversies that were hanging over their heads. So good point here for Nottingham Forest. Into the second game that was on Sunday, it was Everton versus Brighton, and this was a very very special game on behalf of Everton, and historic one really, also for Brighton, because it was the first ever match for Everton to host at their new stadium, the Hill Dickinson Stadium, and they were able to show their shiny toys in there in Jack Grealish, Keenan Dewsbury Hall. Also for Brighton, it was historic as they get to be the first official visitors to play at the new ground here of Everton. So into the game now, and Everton were fully in control of this game. Honestly, the same David Moyes tactic that has always been there whenever coming up against a team that likes to hold the ball, with hitting them properly on the counter. And this time, the star of the game, were two men in there, the fresh recruit in Jack Grealish and Iliman Ndiaye, both of them who in tandem, Iliman Ndiaye receiving an assist from Jack Grealish for the first goal here, and the second goal also Grealish providing James Garner to rocketed the ball from the edge of the D into the bottom right hand corner of the goalkeeper. An unstoppable shot, in all honesty. And that was how the game ended at 2-0 for Everton, and a win at their home ground. I must say that, with that stadium, the atmosphere of the fans, it is going to be a very difficult ground for other teams to go and get points from. So good victory here for Everton. And into the final game now of Sunday, and it was Fulham who were hosting Manchester United, and the game ended at 1-1. Some disappointments in there for the United faithful, in all honesty. Uh, Not much was going on for them in terms of creativity, and their player in and captain in Bruno Fernandes missing the target from a penalty spot. They are saying the ball has not yet landed from Bruno Fernandes in any case. So a huge disappointment in there. Uh, though United did manage to get the lead in this game. A bit of an own goal here. Uh, Rodrigo Moniz unfortunately put the ball into the back of his net. Not that he knew much about it, but unfortunate. That's how United got the lead, and Fulham managed to equalize in the 73rd minute there with Emil Smith Rowe, who was a freshly introduced substitute, and did equalize, I believe, with the first touch that he got since being reintroduced. So big point for Fulham there, and unfortunately for United, they will have to contend with the fact that it is only a point thus far in 2 games into the new season. So a lot of work for Manchester United to do here. So uh, that was the end of Sunday's game, and now we come to the final game of the game week. The official grudge match of the game week in Newcastle against Liverpool, a game that happened last night, where there was a lot of things to watch here. It's the Isak Derby, as some people are calling it, with the current ongoing case of Isak wanting to leave Newcastle to go to Liverpool, with Isak also having refused to train with his teammates or to play any more games for Newcastle United in a manner to try and maneuver his way into the Liverpool squad for this season. And the game started off in a fiery mood, extremely fiery, with Newcastle causing a lot of pressure, putting a lot of pressure onto Liverpool here. And despite all of that chaos that Newcastle were trying to cause from the Liverpool players, it was Liverpool who did manage to get the lead. Ryan Gravenberch shooting the ball from the edge of the box, uh, cleverly hit shot because he managed to wrong foot the goalkeeper. Admittedly, it did take a slight deflection of Fabian Schär, the defender. So big goal there for Liverpool, who took the lead despite being under under huge amounts of pressure from Newcastle. And Liverpool did also take the lead, extend their lead. That is another goal for Hugo Ekitike to make it 2-0 for Liverpool, and beautifully hit strike, and another goal for for the new striker here in Hugo Ekitike, who has now scored 2 goals in 2 games, proving a huge asset for Liverpool, and probably making a case for Liverpool not to sign any more strikers because they have him. So big goal there for Hugo Ekitike to make it 2-0. And unfortunately, right before the game was about to head into halftime, and there was Anthony Gordon, who uh, got sent off because of a very high challenge on Virgil van Dijk. He did go off after a review from VAR that deemed his challenge reckless and endangering an opponent. So he got his matching orders, and the game ended at halftime there, 2-0 to Liverpool. And coming into the second half, Newcastle down to 10 men. Nobody had even imagined the fact that Newcastle were ever going to get a goal here, or let alone come back and cause a lot of problems. But that is exactly what they did. Started off the second half, and if I'm to be honest, controlled most of the second half with their high press, getting the ball, going direct most of the times, and causing the Liverpool defense a lot of problems on the wings, with the pacey or Anthony Elanga in there, and Harvey Barnes, who are causing a lot of problems to the Liverpool backline and midfield. Uh, Newcastle did manage to get a goal back here in the form of Bruno Guimaraes, who scored from a set piece. Uh, Poor marking, I must say, from the Liverpool players, and specifically Milos Kerkez, who wasn't even looking at the ball here, and Bruno Guimaraes managed to head the ball ahead of Kerkez to bring Newcastle back into the game. And then the equalizer at that time came from the honestly Newcastle's only striker in the squad, in Willo Sula, a young player there. He did manage to get the goal from another set piece. Uh, the ball was hit forward, launched forward more specifically, and Will Osula managed to sneak in behind the last defender there and poke the ball into the back of the net ahead of the on-rushing Allison to make it 2-2. And just as Newcastle were, preparing themselves to celebrate a huge deserved point against the champions, with despite being down to 10 men, and there was Rio Ngumoha, the young 16-year-old player from Liverpool, who managed to break the hearts of the Geordies here, Newcastle fans and Newcastle players, the Newcastle coaching staff, with the last minute strike that goalkeeper Nick Pope honestly did not have a chance with, to steal the 3 points from St. James Park. And, as I always mentioned, when you go to a ground and find it tough, that the opponents are making it tough for you to win, just, go in there, get the points, and get out, and that's exactly what Liverpool managed to do here and snatch the victory. Snatch the victory away from Newcastle. So that is how the game ended, 3-2 to Liverpool, and that is how the game week ended, game week 2 for the English Premier League. So as it stands in the Premier League right now, the top four being Liverpool, Tottenham Hotspur, uh, Arsenal, and Chelsea, who have managed to get the early climb into the top four, and right now I believe it's only Liverpool, Spurs, and Arsenal who have maximum points. So game week 2 officially ended now. I believe that's where I'd like to end the video as we now continue to look forward into game week 3, the final one before the first official international break of the season. So, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate the feedback. Thank you for the views. Let's continue liking, let's continue subscribing to the channel, and there will be more content coming out this week, definitely, with the Carabao Cup third round draws coming up, I believe, on either Wednesday or Thursday. Then we have also the Champions League draw for that is coming out on the League Face draw that is coming out on Thursday. So there is plenty of content that is going to come out this week. So thank you guys for watching. Please stay tuned. Hit the bell notification button to be informed of my next upload. So thank you guys. Please have a lovely day and enjoy. Bye.